Have you ever noticed that some people seem to not even know how to be human anymore? And I'm not talking about, any AI or robots. I'm talking about real people, real flesh and blood out there, real 10 toes down human beings who have voluntarily outsourced their entire brains to an external database. Now, I know some of y'all may be thinking, dude, what are you talking about? You're using a bunch of words that mean nothing. Listen, let me explain. We live in a time where people have become so terrified of being wrong, so addicted to appealing to authority, that they've actually optimized the soul right out of just everyday normal conversation. It seems like nowadays people don't actually listen to connect with you. They listen to audit what you say, audit your brain, right? So I want to talk about the rise of the human search engine archetype of person. Listen, I'll start with a little story. I used to work in a job that was about 95% dudes, right? Like 95% male. Now, if you ever worked in an environment like that, then you know what conversations are like. It's just you and your boys sitting around on break or just sitting around doing your job, shooting the shit, tossing out absolutely ridiculous, unhinged hypothetical questions just to pass the time and bond, right? But at this job, we had that guy, that dude that seems to be part Terminator, but have none of the danger that comes with being the Terminator. He's just a robot in his own head. Mr. Debbie Downer himself, the self-appointed workplace truth police. Dude, one day, a few of us are just talking about health and nutrition. Normal stuff, right? Normal stuff. I mentioned casually that eggs have been unfairly demonized for decades. I said that dietary cholesterol doesn't just instantly turn into blood serum cholesterol, and that you really shouldn't worry about eating them too much because overall, they're fairly healthy and they're not really going to raise your blood cholesterol levels. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just sharing some information that I found interesting, that I found online, things like that, right? Dog, this motherfucker that wasn't even in the conversation overhears this and instantly spawns into the room like a fucking Skyrim NPC. Dude is absolutely heated at me, bro. He's looking at me. He's like, no, where's your evidence? You're not going to sit here and spread lies and misinformation to people. Stop saying that. Bro, what? I looked in this fool's face. I said, look, man, the science has shifted, okay? But go look it up yourself, or we can just agree to disagree. But, I'm going to keep on talking. This is our conversation, so I'm going to continue. Y'all, this man literally would not let me talk. He blocked the whole conversation. He stood there demanding a damn manila folder of peer-reviewed FBI evidence over a casual comment that I was talking about some eggs. You see, to him, the differing in opinions wasn't just a casual different take. This was a moral failure to him. He treated this damn conversation about some breakfast food like I was distributing counterfeit medical licenses, bro. And the reason this is a big deal is because this is kind of the death of just the riff. Sometimes you just want to riff and talk shit with your boys. But honestly, it even gets worse than just an egg conversation, because these people, they don't just police facts. They want to police your damn imagination. Listen, a different story. This is going to be my last story, okay? Look, we're doing what guys do, We're just sitting around the metaphorical campfire talking shit, just asking dumbass questions. So I throw out, yo, if you went back in time, would your life be cooler as a cowboy or a Roman soldier? Normal dudes are going to hear that and just start riffing, A normal dude's just going to be like, hey, listen, dog, I think I'd get way more girls as a cowboy with a shiny revolver. And then the other dude comes in, nah, dude. Hey, have you seen those Roman shields? Yo, you polish that bad boy up, you getting straight hoes. It's just a vibe, right? Like, bro, we're just trying to have fun. At the end of the day, we're trying to waste time so we're not depressed at work. What does this human search engine do? This dude pulls his phone out immediately, talking about, well, technically, if you look at the happiness projections based on first century Roman sanitation statistics. I looked at this fool. I said, bro, we're not looking for the answer, dog. We're just trying to riff with the boys. Put your phone away. He looked at me genuinely confused. He asked me, why would you choose to have a full conversation about something that's wrong? You're just wasting your brain power when you could just look up the right information and be correct. Y'all, listen to what I just said. He asked, why would you talk about something that's wrong? That is the crux. That is the downfall that people like this have. To a mind like that, human imagination, humor, things like bonding, They're just a waste of brain RAM. These kind of people think that if a thought is not historically verifiable or indexed on some page in Google, then it has zero value to humanity. Two computers performing a Bluetooth file transfer have more soul than an interaction like that with another human being. See, when you lose your imagination, you literally lose the ability to have fun. Well, fun that you create. You know, it's like the question that has went around before asking men, oh, if you fought Prime Ronda Rousey, right? Prime Ronda Rousey was about 135 pounds in the UFC. If you fought her 10 times in a row, how many times do you think you could win? And you know, guys just want to have fun answering questions like that. Guys just want to have fun, you know, bouncing their thoughts around. And, you know, you have some delusional ass guys that are going to give some crazy answer. You know, a dude that's 5'1", 97 pounds, and he's like, dog, I'm taking her 10 out of 10 times. Or you have some massive dude, 6'4", college athlete that's like, oh, I'm never going to beat her once. And you're just like, what are you talking about, bro? You would slam her through the floor. Or, you know, a question like, what's the largest animal you could beat in hand-to-hand combat, you know, if it attacked you, y'all were fighting to the death? Dog, I asked someone that question one time. This idiot said a giraffe with complete confidence. Do you know how fucking funny that is to hear somebody look you dead in your eyeballs and say, I could beat a giraffe in hand-to-hand combat? You know what he said? He said, bro, their necks are so long, when it goes down to bite me, I would just grab its neck and twist real tight and snap it. That's how I'd kill it. The level of delusion in some people's imagination is absolutely hilarious. It was absolutely beautiful and so funny. The most delusional thing I've ever heard. I tried to explain to this man how quickly a giraffe would stomp his body into straight powder. It would look like he was Thanos snapped out of existence. But then meanwhile, you try to have a conversation like that, you have that idiot human encyclopedia Debbie Downer always pulling his phone out, man's in the corner, heated, bro. You can see steam coming out of his damn ears because we're talking about something that we could just look up. So you have to wonder, where does this come from? See, I think it starts in the school system. I think from a young age, we're not taught how to critically think or even that critical thinking is important. We're just taught to appeal to authority all the time. We're taught that these smart people have already done the thinking for us. So our job is just to look up their conclusions and just repeat them over and over and over. See, critical thinking these days has kind of been rewritten to mean conspiracy thinking. So people have become so terrified of being wrong that they treat basic human intuition like an actual crime. Like, dog, if you say, I've been thinking about this and I actually think it's this, or I think the official, you know, narrative or whatever is wrong. It doesn't matter how minor it is, bro. People will get viscerally angry at you. I mean, you could look at something, you could say, yo, you know, it's hot in Arizona. If you live there, maybe you shouldn't buy an Alaskan Husky as a pet, right? Instead of just using their brains to think and go, you know what, that actually kind of makes intuitive sense. Now, people pull their damn phones out to see if there's a study out there that validates that claim first. You know, they think they're the smartest, most rational people in the room, but in reality, they've kind of just locked themselves inside of like this intellectual prison that their phone controls. You know, like they've traded their actual humanity, their humor, you know, like their ability just to riff and just have fun with their boys and sit down and just have a conversation over a beer. They traded all that shit away for some corporate compliance, you know, computer chip that's obviously metaphorically installed because these motherfuckers don't have that Elon Musk shit. And all I'm here to say is, look, don't let algorithms turn you into a damn search engine. Go just talk some dumb shit with your friends, bro. Go argue about cowboys and Romans and, you know, the gladiatorial battles. Go argue about the biggest animal you could fight with your bare hands and go have your boy tell you how he could snap a giraffe's neck. All I'm saying is, be a human.